3 true horror stories that will ruin your sleep. You think you're safe. You've locked the doors, turned off the lights, and tucked yourself into bed. But what if the real horror isn't in movies, it's in real life? These aren't made-up tales from a screenwriter's imagination. These are true stories, true events that actually happened. And once you hear them, you might never look at your bedroom the same way again. Let's dive into 3 chilling, real-life horror stories that will make you question every creak in the floor, every shadow in the corner, and every sound in the night. The girl who woke up to a stranger in her bed. It started with a noise, a soft shuffle, like someone stepping lightly across the carpet. Sarah was 19, living alone in her first apartment. She just moved in a month earlier and loved the quiet, the independence. But that night, something felt off. She woke up around 2 a.m., heart pounding, convinced someone was in her room. She lay still, pretending to sleep. Then she heard it again, the sound of breathing, not hers. Slowly, she turned her head, and there he was. A man sitting on the edge of her bed. He wasn't moving, just watching her. His face was pale, his eyes dark and empty. Sarah froze, her mind raced. Is this a dream? Am I hallucinating? But then he spoke. "You're awake," he whispered. That's when she screamed. She bolted upright, scrambling backward until she hit the wall. The man didn't run. He just stood up, calmly walked to the window and climbed out like it was the most normal thing in the world. Sarah called the police immediately. They found footprints in the flower bed below her second-floor window. They found muddy handprints on the windowsill, and they found a single fingerprint on her nightstand. But here's the terrifying part. The man was never caught. Neighbors reported seeing a shadowy figure lurking around the building for weeks before the incident. One even claimed they saw a man climbing the fire escape late at night. But no one got a clear look. No one could identify him. Sarah moved out the next day. She still has nightmares. And to this day, she sleeps with the lights on. The house that whispered at night. Mike and Lisa bought their dream home in 2015. A beautiful 2-story colonial with a big backyard, a cozy fireplace, and a basement that smelled like old books and pine. It was perfect until the whispers started. It began with Lisa. She'd be in the kitchen, making coffee, and hear a voice call her name. Soft, almost like a breath. She'd turn around, no one there. At first, she blamed stress. Then Mike heard it too. One night, they were watching TV in the living room when they both heard a child's voice say, "I'm scared." They froze, looked at each other. "Did you hear that?" Mike asked. Lisa nodded, eyes wide. They searched the house, checked every room. No one was there. But the whispers didn't stop. They'd hear them in the hallway, in the bathroom, even in the basement. Sometimes it was a child crying. Sometimes it was a woman humming a lullaby. Once they heard a man say, "Don't go upstairs." They called a paranormal investigator. The team set up cameras and audio recorders, and what they captured still gives investigators chills. On one recording, a voice clearly says, "Help me." On another, a child laughs, then screams. But the most disturbing moment came when Lisa was alone in the house. She was in the basement, organizing boxes, when the temperature dropped suddenly. The air felt thick. And then, from the corner of the room, a voice whispered directly into her ear. "You shouldn't be here." She ran upstairs and didn't go back down for weeks. They eventually sold the house. The new owners reported the same phenomena, and the whispers, they're still there. The man who followed her home. Emma was walking home from work. It was 9 p.m. and the streets were quiet. She lived in a safe neighborhood, but she always walked fast, phone in hand, just in case. She didn't notice the man at first. He was about 50 feet behind her, walking at the same pace, same direction. She passed a streetlight, and for a split second she saw his face, pale, unshaven, eyes fixed ahead. She picked up her pace, so did he. Her heart started to race. She turned the corner, he turned too. She ducked into a convenience store, pretending to browse the snacks. She watched through the window. The man stood outside, staring at the door, waiting. After 5 minutes, he walked away. Emma waited another 10 before leaving. She took a different route home, cutting through alleys, avoiding main streets. She made it to her apartment, locked the door, and breathed a sigh of relief. But then her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You're home safe, I'm glad." Emma's blood ran cold. She blocked the number, changed her phone, and reported it to the police. They traced the message to a burner phone. No leads. A week later, she came home to find her front door slightly ajar. She never left it open. Never. Inside, everything was in place, except one thing. Her favorite photo, a picture of her and her dog, was turned face down on the coffee table. And on the back, in messy handwriting, it said, "I was watching." Emma moved out the next day. She still doesn't know who it was. But sometimes, when she's alone at night, she swears she hears footsteps outside her window. These stories aren't fiction. They're real. They happen to real people. And they prove one thing: the scariest monsters aren't in the dark, they walk among us. So the next time you hear a noise at night, ask yourself, is it just the house settling? Or is it something else? Sleep tight, if you can.